just laugh. I don't know. It's like can't figure out which side the camera's on. Why can't they make a camera with like a phone with the camera right in the middle of the screen? I don't know. One day they will. Whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't know if we are going to get this kit done in this video today. I'm getting close, but there's a couple of things yet to do, and I don't know, it looks like I got a lot of footage for this video, and I don't want it to be too long, and I don't want to leave anything out because it's kind of an epic build. So we might finish it, we might not, and you're kind of getting the inside scoop of how I make videos. I make them linear. Like, I make this intro video before I'm done taking footage for the kit. Like, of course, I've got some footage on the computer, but I don't know how far that's gonna go because I gotta do the commentary and then cut the clips down to the length of the commentary, and you know, things work that way. So like the outro video, I'm still looking on this side. The outro video isn't made until I'm done the whole video and I do that outro. So I just wanna share that with you. I don't know if it was really worth anything or whatever, but you know, I'm working along on the kit. There it is on the table. Getting her done. I found out that I'm still missing some parts, and I gotta tell the client about that. Gotta get some more parts cut up, and because all that stuff comes out of my paycheck, so I gotta make sure I get everything sorted out. So just gonna hopefully they get ITLA gets it cut out quick. Oops. But I just wanted to thank you for coming back and watching the video. I wanted to thank my patrons for supporting the channel on Patreon. Links down there as usual. Part of the whole style now. I'm gonna make a video pretty soon showing you the back end of my YouTube to show you exactly why they say I can't get monetized. And really, back when I was monetized, I was only getting a $100 check every 6 months or so at the end. In the beginning, back in 2012, I'd get a $100 check every 2 months or so. I was making good money off of it. Well, that's not good money, but it was good money in terms of YouTube. And but at the end, I was getting like 20 times the views. I had 20 times the subscribers and view hours and minutes and all that jazz, but I was only making pennies a month, you know, maybe making like 10, 12 bucks a month, if I remember correctly. So it was like, you know, I only get like a check or two a year. It wasn't really worth nothing. Patreon, though, is a very steady form of, I hate to call it income because I really don't use it to pay my bills. I use it to you know, pay for the supplies and you know, stuff for making videos and stuff. So let's get into this video. I want to thank my patrons once again. You really drive this channel. I wouldn't be back if it wasn't for you guys. So if anybody out there who can afford it, I know times are tough here too. You know, I hold nothing against anybody who can't afford it. These videos are free, and you know, when I had no money. You know, it was real nice to get some free good videos, quality videos. So I'm just putting in I'm giving back, you know, by keep staying free. And you know, if things don't pick up on Patreon, I might have to get some sponsors and do some ads and stuff like that. But I want to really give Patreon a good chance to you know, start that off, you know, give it a chance, you know, so that I, you know, if I get up to a certain goal level, I you know, won't do ads and sponsors. I'll just totally skip that altogether, because that's one part that I really didn't like doing in the past. If I have to, I have to, but you know, Helican Focus, I made a lot of money off those guys back in the day. I'm sure there's some money left in my... I should contact them. Then again, they're in Ukraine. Maybe I'll let them keep their money. Anyways, let's get to the model, shall we? Thanks for watching, guys. Guys, girls. I was trying to say buys. I don't know what I was trying to say. Whatever. Well, good morning. I wanted to start this video off. We got a couple of pieces to paint here. The windows have some lintel ledges and some brick cornices that go around the top of the windows, and also the little walkways in the structure have to be painted up brick color so that we can glue them onto our structure. Use a combination of red brick and raw sienna. Raw sienna is more like an old orangey type brick, while the red brick is, as it says, more reddish in color. To do this, I just put it on a piece of cardboard and use a nice brush to paint out the various parts and let them dry in place. Now, once we got all these pieces all painted up red, I come back with my mortar solution and put some mortar lines into these pieces. It's you know, basically the same thing that we've done to the main walls. We're just adding it to these parts so that we don't have to add some extra mortar to the structure itself, so that the mortar doesn't pool up around these parts and make white outlines around them. Something that I learned in the last kit, like I said in one of the last videos. You know, it's important to paint them separately so that you know, you don't get some extra white hazing that can easily happen with this mortar solution. Now, moving forward, I want to get these pieces onto the structure as quick as possible. So what I'm going to do is use my little space heater here to dry up the mortar lines and get the parts, you know, nice and dry before I go and glue them to the wall itself. I'm using weld bond glue to glue these pieces on, just in case if something bleeds out. I don't want anything to show up. But as usual, I'm also taking a wet brush and wiping away the glue that seeps out that I actually do see. If I miss some glue, I'll just take my razor blade and you know, just cut behind the glue and chip them out. Hopefully it doesn't wreck any of the paint. If it does wreck some of the paint, I'll just come back and add some paint and add a little bit of mortar lines just to fix up those sections up, you know. Moving forward, my brick decorative pieces stick out from the wall just a little bit, much like our micro plywood brick sheets that I just put on in the last video. So I figured it would be easier just to put the wall upside down and put these decorative pieces onto the building that way, pushing them right through, pushing them right down to the table, because they would match the profile of the bricks that I added with the micro plywood. This turned out really good. However, it did show a lot of glue on the other side, which was easily cleaned up after I was done. Once the glue starts to dry just a little bit, it doesn't want to be sticking on the wall. It kind of sticks to itself, so with a little razor blade and a little nudging, it's kind of easy to pick it off. After I was finished with my decorative pieces, I had to move on to my lintels. Now, lintels are that little piece of concrete that the window sits on top of, or sits on top of a door to hold the brick up. Um, Lintels, they're like a structural cement piece, or it could be made of any different type of material. But in this case, it's a concrete looking piece. Sometimes it's painted white or painted various colors of the trim of the house, but in this case it's painted concrete color. So I use my concrete paint to start by painting each side of the lintels, and later coming back after I had glued my lintels into the wall, finishing the painting of the lintels on while they're in the wall, painting very carefully not to get any concrete paint on the brick, because obviously that'd kill the magic very easily. Now my next challenge is to paint the keystones at the top of the decorative brick. Now this is a very small part of the decorative brick above the windows, but it is a very small piece to paint, so I have to use a very small brush and a very steady hand, and get that little bit of paint on top of those walls to show that that contrast of that keystone brick that holds them both together at the top of the arch. Next, we have to paint our window pieces the right color. After I looked at the photographs of the prototypes in the proper year, I noticed that the windows weren't gray at all anymore. They were kind of like an olive green. So I changed my color from gray to green, and painted them and let them dry to prepare for the next step, which is the window glass. Now the windows are made of acetate. This is the clear plastic sheet that for those of us who were in school when we had overhead cameras, the teacher would mark on with markers to do our math equations or whatever the purpose may be for school. But in our case, it's going to be windows. So what I do is I mark the width of the window with my razor blade on the top and the bottom of the sheet, and then use a ruler to cut the width of the window out in strips. Then I use a pair of scissors to cut the height of the window out. I do a bunch of strips at the same time so that it doesn't take a lot of time to do this. I can do probably about 10 windows with each cut of the scissors if I do 10 strips. This way it's not a long job. It just gets done as fast as I can get it done. Next, I take my wall and I flip it over to the back side so I can glue around each window. Now I use my weld bond glue again, so if I get any seepage through and I don't notice it, it doesn't really affect the view of the window because the weld bond is so clear that you usually can't see it. But if I do see it, I'll try to get it out of there with a wet brush if I catch it on time, or cut it out with a razor blade very carefully because it could scratch up our windows. After the glue is on though, and our acetate is on top of the glue, then we have to wait to let that dry. So I let it dry overnight. Moving on, we've got to glue our acetate to the wall. So I use my weld bond glue by gluing around the window frame, using my finger to smudge it out so it doesn't squeeze out into our viewable area. We want less seepage and more sticky, icky, if you know what I mean. Put that down, and then we put our acetate on top of it. After the glue has dried, we place our windows on top, and here comes the trick. After putting our windows in on top of the acetate, we use Pledge floor wax. I know it's an old school trick. A lot of you might know about this, but some of you might not. Pledge floor wax is it'll add a shine to the window. It's perfectly clear, is something we like, and it is a very light, and I mean really light, adhesive. So the window will stick to it, and because it's in a tight little cavity, laser cut perfectly, it's not going to go anywhere with the light adhesive of the Pledge floor wax. Now after we're done our windows, it's time to move on to something that I've been holding off on the walls, the corbels. The little decorative things that go underneath the soffit. You know, the little triangle parts that are, you know, fancy, all cut out all fancy like. I start out by painting them gray, because when I look at the photographs in the 1980s of this building that the client wants, he wants the building to look exact. And at that time, well, the paint was peeling off, and a lot of that wood underneath looked really gray, like a kind of a darkish gray. Not real dark, but in between light and dark gray. So I start off by painting the corbels gray, and follow after the paint has dried completely with a white. Now, when I paint the corbels with the gray, I paint it completely. And when I paint the corbels with the white, I kind of dab the paint on so that some of the gray will show through. Now, a funny thing happens around this time. I didn't really find it all that funny because, you know, first thought was, holy moly, I just ruined this kid. So I made a video about this all by itself, so there's a full video for you to view it. But to make a long story short, I put the decorative fascia piece on the top of the building, the white part, upside down, so the corbels didn't fit correctly. So I had to get that off. And something I've known for a while now, something I was taught to me by Mark Williams and Joe LeMay, my mentors in the hobby, the people who got me started, was that a little bit of heat will get that weld bond to loosen up and allow you to pry off a part without ruining it. So that's what I did. Pulled them off, reapplied the weld bond, and put the part on the right way this time. Now we're gonna close out this video with last part would be I put on the corbels on the wall and let the building dry completely. In our next video I'm gonna skip through a little bit because I have to fast forward this video a little bit. The video making process is kind of holding the kit making up, and I gotta you know, get things done. You know what I mean? So there we have it. We got one more video done in the can. I got the... Still having a problem with this whole camera thing, ain't I? I got the back wall done of the building, which is the fore wall in the client's eyes, because that's where the trains are, right? But you know, in the real world, the front wall faces the downtown street, where in St. Thomas, somewhere where I've been numerous times. However, you know, we got a lot of tips in this video, and I just want to remind you that little mess up I made by putting that part upside down. I made a full video. It's called the 1K mistake. Could have been $1,000, but it wasn't, because I fixed it. And I teach you how to do that thing with all the tips that I give in these videos. And in our next video, do I have a doozy tip or two? Maybe 3. I don't know. But I know there's one doozy tip that you will remember forever, and you're gonna love it. Oh, I almost can't even wait to tell you what it is. But yeah, it's I gotta wait. But good news. The next video is gonna be the last one in this series. I promise. And we're gonna have this kit done in no time. Okay, Daniel? I promise. Me promise. So I just want to thank all the patrons that we got on board. We've got I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5. My goal is 50 patrons. So if you guys really like these videos, please, please, please. If I could get 50 patrons, you know, I'd be set. I'd be getting into building my own kits. The kit company will be alive. Ugh, I can't wait to do it. I got the first kit planned. Actually, I got the first 5 kits planned. We got a 3D printer, and we're gonna get a laser cutter pretty soon. The funding for all that is coming in, and you know, with the job and all that, it gets easier to do that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna get a loan from the bank maybe. But you know, the patrons. That's something that, you know, maybe I got my hand over the microphone. You know, that's something that's gonna help a big time in getting this kit company off of ground floor. You know, and it helps with getting these videos out. It helps me, you know, helps me to know that you guys really appreciate the videos, number one. You know, so much so that you're willing to chip in $1 or $5 or 10, whatever. It doesn't matter to me what you do, how much you put in, but you know, as long as I get. My goal's 50, and I got 5. 45 left to go. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time, okay, guys? And girl? Maybe. There's maybe girls. I don't know, there's Jen out there, but whatever. Have a good time, guys. I hope you liked the video today. Please subscribe, press like, press the little bell icon, and when they say, do you want all the videos, just say, yeah, I want all of them. He only puts out 1 video a week. Oh. Okay? I try to keep them short too, you know, even though this one might be a little bit long. And if I don't shut up, it's gonna be even longer. So I'm gonna shut up now. Shut up, Ron. Shut up. Bye, guys.